Today we're going to rewrite mixed numbers with their equivalent fractions, which is going to allow us to either add or subtract. So let's quickly review what we did with just fractions. When we had fractions like 3/4 minus 1/5, the first thing we did was have to find a common denominator. So we multiplied the 4 and the 5 together to get 20. Then if you will see, we did the same thing to the bottom as the top, the denominator as the numerator to get 4/20, and did the same thing to the denominator and the numerator here to get 15/20. 15/20 minus 4/20 equals 11/20. So now let's look at our problem and see how this works with mixed numbers. Abby had 4.5 hours of homework to do. Then her mom made her help with the family chores for 2 1/3 hours. How many hours of work did Abby have to do? Well, I know that there's 4.5 hours of homework, and there's 2 1/3 hours, that was chores. And the question asks, how many hours of work did Abby have to do? Well, homework is a type of work, so are chores. So this is gonna be combining both together. So that means I have to add. So I'm gonna write 4.5, and I'm gonna write 2 1/3. And which one I put on top does not matter, because order doesn't matter in addition problems. I need to find a common denominator just like before. So I'm going to use 6 because 2 times 3 equals 6. So then I'm going to fill in what I multiplied by so I can figure out what goes as my numerator. So my denominator was times 2 to get to the 6. So I also have to multiply the numerator by 2. So I know that 1/3 equals 2/6, but I also know that there were 2 wholes. So I need to bring the 2 wholes over. The second one up here, I had 2 times 3 to get to 6. That means I'm going to have to change my numerator, multiply it by 3, and that's going to get me 3/6. So 1/2 is equal to 3/6, but I want 4 1/2, so I want 4 3/6. Now I'm going to add together. I'm going to start with my fractions over here, and I get 3/6 plus 2/6 is 5/6, which I'm happy about because it is a proper fraction. I don't have to change that to a mixed number and do some more adding. And I've got 4 and 2, which gets me 6. So this answer is complete. How many hours of work did Abby have to do? It was 6 5/6 hours in all. Okay, let's look at another problem. Abby had 4.5 hours of homework to do. Then her mom made her help with the family chores for 2 1/3 hours. Oh, this is sounding familiar. How much more time did Abby spend on homework than chores? Oh, now the question's different. It's asking how much more. And as I read the question, it says how much more did she spend on homework than chores, which means homework's the bigger number. So I need to start with homework on the top, and then I need to put the chores underneath. And I'm going to subtract. And I do the same thing. If I remember back to the last problem, it was 2 2/6, and this was 4 3/6. So then when I subtract my fraction first. 3/6 minus 2/6, that's nice because I don't have to do any of that renaming or any models to be drawn. Instead, I know that 3 minus 2 is 1, and I've got 4 minus 2 of the whole numbers, which gets me 2. So how much more time did Abby spend on homework than chores? 2 1/6 hours.